Hi and welcome to Pop Collectibles, a show about collectors of pop culture. Whether it's from film, TV, sport or music memorabilia, this show is about collecting in the 21st century. What people collect is endless, as you can see from the scroll of fame behind me. Today, something a little different as we spend the entire half hour with the movie magicians behind such films as The Lord of the Rings, King Kong and many others. And their collectible slice of the pie is seeing over a 3,000% increase on investment. Sounds good, huh? Well, that's just what some of the WETA Collectibles now fetch with these high art pieces, as DJ finds out.
I'd like to welcome Richard Taylor, Director of the WETA collection of companies in New Zealand. Well, Richard, this is an incredible playground you've got here.
Oh, it's a good place to be. I still certainly enjoy coming to work every morning, hanging out with little characters like this.
Mate, I feel like a hobbit standing next to you in this orc. Can you show us around?
Oh, it'd be great fun. Please come and we'll have a look.
Richard, what's your position with WETA?
Well, I run the workshop here. I'm also co-owner of the WETA facilities. We set up the company about 18 years ago now and had a great time making many of Peter Jackson's films and a number of other directors that have come along. But now expanding into collectibles, publishing our own children's TV show called Jane and the Dragon, which is cracking along, and any amount of good fun we can get our hands at.
How many international films has WETA played a part in?
Well, I think about 12 maybe. Since finishing Lord of the Rings, we've done Master and Commander, Peter Pan, Last Samurai, Perfect Strangers, Hellboy, Van Helsing, iRobot, Kingdom of Heaven, Arctic Journal, King Kong, Lion the Witch in the Wardrobe, Zorro. So it's been a crazy time, and we're very, very fortunate we've managed to stay so busy. We've got an amazing crew and we want to make sure they can stay with us doing cool films.
Is Hollywood worried about your success and trying to buy you out?
I don't think at all that Hollywood is worried about the successes of the companies down here in Australia and New Zealand, because we complement the work that's going on in Hollywood. It's a huge amount of work that can go around for everyone, and like the Australian film industry has seen with the movies they've been working on of late, there's rich opportunities for everyone, and it's just a different way to make movies down here, and the Hollywood producer has enjoyed that. The
Lord of the Rings, Narnia, King Kong, all fantastic films. Does WETA retain the ownership of the props?
We don't retain ownership of the props and models, but we actually we retain possession of them. It's quite an unusual thing, but what that means is that we actually archive them and look after them with great care and make sure that they're preserved. We very much believe that the props that are made for films are artifacts. They're beautiful pieces of artwork and therefore are worthy of archiving at a very high level, and that's what we've tried to do here at the workshop.
Fire a warning shot past the bosun's ear. Mind your aim!
Oh! I saw an original Legolas bow from Lord of the Rings sell for £2,000. That was after it was sold off by a competition winner. How else can a dead keen fan or collector get a one-off piece?
There's very few of the props of Lord of the Rings out there on the market. The instance that you relate, DJ, where someone actually sold a piece for £2,000, an original Legolas bow, they should have definitely held on to it. I think they actually got fleeced, because those sorts of props are now selling for considerably more than that. But of course, you hope that people don't sell them on, that they appreciate their intrinsic value as a beautiful piece of film history and hang on to them. With reference to your question on how people actually get to collect some of the originals, that is something that would be very, very hard to do, because these original props are certainly treasured here in New Zealand and archived very, very carefully with no intention of distributing them, because then they lose so much of their special value from a filmmaker's perspective if they get out onto the market as something that can be purchased.
Primarily your filmmakers, what inspired WETA to become collectible creators?
We had the great ability to join forces with Sideshow on Lord of the Rings and begin the business.
Smeagol losing his nerve. No, not. Never. Smeagol hates nasty hobbitses. Smeagol wants to see them. Dead.
We've now been able to expand into other product lines such as Kong, Narnia, Zorro, Superman, the Muppets and such like.
Richard, can you remember when your passion for all things fantastical began?
I grew up in a very small rural community in New Zealand, really an intersection in a road, about 14 families, and growing up in that sort of environment, I realised very early on that if I had the fantasies that I did in my head, the only way I was ever going to realise them was by building them with my hands. I couldn't go to the corner store and buy them pre-packaged in a blister pack. They were going to have to come out of my hands and out of the creativity in my head. So I just started making things. We had a creek on the back of our farm, a little stream, and that had really great clay in it. So I actually started digging the clay, learning to sculpt, teaching myself how to make these creations that I wanted to have, and built this world around me.
And we'll be back with Richard Taylor shortly.
Thanks to WETA for these magnificent pieces. And up next, the Multi-Academy Award winner shares his tips on keeping your collection in mint condition. Plus, we take a look at some of the great collectibles available from Peter Jackson's King Kong.